So which one of them homeschooled you?
My mum actually homeschooled both of my brother and I, but my brother was 5 when we started homeschooling, and so I would just get books and then work through them while my mum was kind of looking, teaching my brother. So a lot of like self-taught stuff, and I just work through the books, work from like 7 in the morning to 11 in the morning, and then just have the rest of the day to do whatever I wanted to do.
Nice.
Then I went back to school, and I just thought it was such a waste of time.
Which was a waste of time, going to school?
Going to school, because you're just waiting for everyone. But it was a lot of fun. Like I had a lot of really good friends, and I mean, ended up in the principal's office because I was just so passionate about our learning. We had this one awesome school teacher, and she left, and it was like so heartbreaking. And then we had another teacher who just wasn't as good, and I didn't think that she was good at her job. So I said a few things, and then ended up in the principal's office with my friend. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess you really developed your leadership skills there, right? Because didn't you go on to become a head girl then?
Yeah, so so when I went to the prime year 8, after I was homeschooled, it was like a big culture shock, because I'd basically just grown up like in the East, like in a brown community, in a brown family, and obviously like my dad's white, but then I went to a Balangi school, and that was the biggest, like, oh my gosh, what? And it was at lunchtime, and the way that I found, like, it was at lunchtime, and somebody just opened up their chips in front of me, and like didn't offer me any, and I was like, oh my gosh, how rude. And so I guess I like got to find where my feet in like a Balangi school, and then I went to Tawa College, of which at the time there weren't very many islanders as well. So that kind of set me up in a way to relate to a lot of different cultures, and also being involved with church, like you're always having to help out, or like serving in different ministries in the youth ministry, and so it was kind of like an easy transition to be involved in things at school, and like involved in all the choirs and the barbershops and the productions, and and look out for the younger kids, and
It's interesting. I kind of feel like Pasifika people in New Zealand, we always have that moment of culture shock at some stage in our lives, and sometimes you get it earlier if you go to a Balangi school, and sometimes you get it when you go to uni, or some people won't encounter it until they get out in the workforce, but there's always that like shock, like, oh, it's different out there.
Yeah, I think there's always like an initial, oh my gosh, and then there's like other incremental parts along the way where you're like, oh yeah, like some people just have no idea, and it's not their own fault that there are other cultures beyond their own culture. So yeah, that's really interesting, and it's obviously like still in the profession that I'm in, it's still like unfolding.
Yeah.